is Lee Westwood, the former coach who's stepped into the breach. Missing for them today from their last game, Helena Turner, the influential Millie Bell. She'll be a loss. Will Millie Bell, formerly with Bradford, she was their player of the year last year. Megan Condiff, the prop forward, and Emma Lowe missing out of the second row. Referee today, Tyler Toppin-Higson. And I was saying it was an interesting story about the three players coming in from Cardiff Demons. They've travelled up today for the game, never having set foot on the pitch at training. So it's their first meeting with their team colleagues today, so that's going to be interesting to see how that all pans out. Your thoughts on all that, Gemma? I mean, it does take a bit of believing, doesn't it, that you know, you can introduce three players and put them straight out onto the pitch. Yeah,
I mean, look, it just shows the capabilities of the women that, you know, we have at different clubs that are able to come and play. But, you know, to say, like you said, and they hadn't even been to a training session with these girls and then coming out and playing a game today with them, is a credit to them, you know, and to be fair to Warrington, it's a credit to them to be able to get them players in, you know, and be able to fill the squad today. Like you said, the game last week against St Helens unfortunately had to be cancelled because the team couldn't be made. But, you know, to have them this week, for them to travel up to York and to get a game, you know, is really good for them. Obviously, it's really good for the Valkyrie, like you said, in the warm-up is what you'd want to call it, for the playoff. But yeah, it's great to see Warrington have a full squad out, and it'd be really good to see how they go. At the end of the day, they've really got nothing to lose in this season. You know, like you said, they're sitting at the bottom of the league at the minute, and, you know, they'll just be wanting to come out and give a good performance today. And, you know, York are going to be wanting to put a real good performance in to go into that playoff. Yeah,
Cardiff Demons, of course, are in the tier below, aren't they? They've got aspirations to get up into Super League, seem to acquit themselves pretty well in the cup competitions when they get in opposition to the Women's Super League sides.
Yeah, definitely, and I think through that Cardiff Demons side, there's a lot of international players, obviously, a lot of homebred Welsh players in that squad. So, you know, it's great to see them, and from what I've seen, they're doing pretty good in their respected league. So, like I said, it's good to see some of them players coming over and you know, putting their hand up and say, you know, I'll play for Warrington today, which is really good. And, you know, it's the quality that we've got throughout the Women's Super League, you know, and the leagues below, that they're able to put their hands up and still play at this level. So, like I said, it'd be really interesting to see how they go today.
Yeah. Lindsay Anfield has been up to see us. She just wanted to express her thanks to everybody down at the Acorn yesterday. They had a sort of race afternoon. They were going to play the under-19s game down there against Warrington, but Warrington couldn't raise the team. But they still went ahead with everything else that went down there, and they raised over £1,000. So that Lindsay just wanted to express her thanks to everybody down at the Acorn, and everybody involved with such a successful afternoon. They had a cracking day for it as well, weather-wise, so that's really, really good to see. Gemma, just talking about Women's Super League, and we've said it before about the two-tier look to it, the four teams at the top who are going to qualify for the playoffs, and the four teams aspiring to be, let's say, better than they are without being disrespectful. What are your thoughts on the Men's Super League? Because obviously you'll have seen all the news about two new teams coming in. Is there a danger that Men's Super League will end up with a two-tier division as well?
Yeah, I think there is the danger of that. You know, the thing with the Men's Super League and the Championship is completely different to the women's game. And League 2 in Men's Rugby League is not really talked about, and, you know, if I'm honest, I can't even name a team from that league. But it's good to see that, you know, I think the expansion of Super League will be fantastic to bring them other two teams through and to have a bigger Super League, and then that makes the Championship more respected in a way that, you know, there's harder games in there and a lot of the teams are at the same level. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. Obviously, there's stuff going on at Salford at the minute that, yeah, you know, is awful for the game, and it's really bad to see, and I hope that's resolved very quickly. But yeah, I think it's only a good thing for the game that Super League is dropped with another two teams in it, and I think, you know, whatever teams get there will be chomping at the bit to get ready to go for it.
Yeah, right, let's concentrate on round 10 of the Women's Super League. The Valks in third position at the moment, just ahead of Leeds, and as I say, the Warrington Wolves bottom of the pile. Players are out. It is going to be the Valkyrie to kick off, kicking from left to right. They're going to kick off. Izzy Brennan just got the kicking tee in her hand. Warrington in their familiar yellow and blue strip, and the Valkyrie in the black and amber. And as I say, it'd be interesting to see what sort of a performance we get from this Warrington Wolves side. Referee Tyler Topping Higson just checking things, checks his watch. I just wonder whether he's any relation to Adam Higson. He is from over that side, over from Lee way on. Ball caught by Warrington from the kickoff. And name I'm going to wrestle with all day, I just know, Jess Panayotu. I'll get my tongue around it eventually with the first carry. And Warrington at the moment still in their 30. And they go down the short side. That's a positive run in with the ball, greeted by Savannah Andrade and Tamsin Renouf. But it was strong running there from Gracie Bradshaw. And if that's the sort of promise and endeavour they show, Gemma, they'll do okay, won't they?
Yeah, I think Warrington have probably got quite a bit to play for today, as in, you know, what's happening at the club at the minute, and, you know, these girls are running in at full pelt and with some great power at the minute.
Yep, another big tackle from Savannah Andrade, and once more Tamsin Renouf in there with her. That was to bring Holly Gregory to ground. Great catch on the full by Ebony Partington, fresh from her endeavours with England last week. 3 representatives for the Valkyrie in that England side, Savannah Andrade and Liv Wood, the other 2. And here's a carry for Tara Moxon. Tara Moxon's got away here, and I'm not sure they're going to catch her. Tara Moxon's going to get the first try of the game to the left of the post, and that was a great break downfield. Shrugged off a couple of tacklers from around about 40 metres out, and then just had enough pace to wriggle free of the attempted tackles and race in for a great opening try, Gemma.
Yeah, great try from Tara Moxon there, just all herself there, wasn't it? Great little break through the line, and then she had to put the afterburners on to get past that last Warrington defender. But great start from the York Valkyrie, but give it to Warrington. They had some decent field position. I think the kick didn't probably go as far as they wanted it to, but, you know, they got themselves in decent position. But great work from the Valkyrie to get the opening try in this opening 2 minutes of the game. Yep.
So, pace from Tara Moxon, and that breakaway from just in her own half that carried her all the way to the whitewash to dot the ball down. And Izzy Brennan, as I suspected, is the one tasked with the kicking duties today. She is just to the left of the post, placing that ball very, very carefully on the kicking tee. Great afternoon down here, it really is. None of the heater yesterday, but it was a cloudy old day, early doors yesterday, and then it sort of broke out into red hot sunshine. So we'll see how that develops. But at the moment, nice conditions for the women's game here. Here's Izzy Brennan, right-footed kicker, socks round ankles as always, gives the ball a jab, and that jab's good enough to send it between the sticks, indicated by our 2 touch judges. And the Valkyrie lead early. They lead 6-0. There are 3 other games in Women's Super League today. None of the other big 3 play one another, so you would expect that all 4 of the top teams would hope to come away with a victory today. I don't think any of them are in danger of slipping up today, are they, Gemma, looking at the fixtures?
No, I don't think so. I think the table, even tonight, will stay the same as it is at the minute. Like you said, Andy York just sitting in that 3rd position, and you know, Leeds just behind them, so it puts the playoffs in an interesting stead with that, how they're going to finish. I think especially Warrington and St Helens right at the top of the table.
Yeah. Wigan and St Helens at the top of the table.
Wigan and St Helens, yeah, in that order.
Yeah. We'll talk a little bit later about Valkyrie's game next week against Wigan and the fact it's been switched up to Newcastle. Liv Wood with a carry. She looked as though she might break through and then didn't, and then Jazz Bell takes over. And those familiar blue boots of hers just gets over halfway. Sinead Peach goes to Izzy Brennan. Brennan running the ball up into contact. Pania too, one of those with the tackle. And then Tara Moxon again, ranging away down that left side, gets the pass in, and Emma Kershaw goes in for the try at the corner. And Tara Moxon's had a great start to the game. The former Leeds player, she's scored one and she's created one. And Emma Kershaw continues her good try-scoring form to get the try in the left corner. And little more than 6 minutes elapsed, and it is already 10 points to nil. And it's looking rather ominous for the visitors, Gemma.
Yeah, I mean, Tara Boxton's come out of the gates in this game, hasn't she? She's been fantastic so far, setting up a teammate there, Emma Kershaw, for a try, and she's just breaking down this Warrington line so easy. And you know, as the game goes on, you know, Warrington bodies are going to tire, and, you know, we're only 6 minutes into this game so far. So, you know, to see her being able to break them lines so quickly and so easily in this game so far, it's great to see, because I think Tara's had a bit of a mixed season, hasn't she? Coming over from Leeds, but yeah, she's been outstanding today so far.
Yeah, interesting signing from Leeds Rhinos. Tara obviously deciding she felt that it was a good option for her career to move to the Valkyrie. The league table would suggest that's a good move at the moment, Gemma.
Yeah, it is, yeah, I think...
The playoffs might dictate something different, you never know. We're probably better not speaking too soon. Izzy Brennan from the touchline, right in front of the empty West stand over there. 2-3 paces to her left. To think about that then. Right-footed kicker. This one will need a thump. She's got plenty of air under it. Has it got enough legs? Oh, really, really unfortunate, because she got a good connection. She lofted the ball up and it just bounced off the crossbar and came out. So it remains 10 points to nil. And young Izzy Brennan 1 from 2.
I mean, even if I think she were going to say, I'll hit the crossbar, I don't think she would have. But
No.
she was really unfortunate with that then.
No, if it had been the crossbar challenge, it'd have missed, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So Warrington to restart once more, and they just need to sort of gather themselves, I think, and try and tidy the defensive work up. And once more, ball down to Ebony Partington. Savannah Andrade at her shoulder. Looks potent today, doesn't she, the former Bradford player? She looks as though she's going to be a right handful for this Warrington Wolves defence all afternoon. Sinead Peach pops out of the play the ball, and Warrington are caught offside. That won't help their cause.
I think it's a big game today, to be fair, for the York Valkyrie going into next week against Wigan. I mean, what a massive game that is in the context of the season, but I think to lay a really good platform for them today, especially attacking wise, I think is something definitely at the top of the mind today.
Yeah, and they've got that opportunity today, haven't they? You know, with all fairness to Warrington, they look for fluency. They look for, you know, the right pass at the right time today.
Yeah, definitely.
Renouf into Lisa Parker, a former Sheffield player, held by 3 Warrington defenders, including Molly Gregory, the half-back, and then Liv Wood trying to break through the middle. Been out a couple of weeks injured, came back for that England international, got through that successfully and restored to the lineup today in place of Agnes Wood. And then Evie Sexton just cutting back against the grain towards the post, within the 10, to the left of the sticks. Peach, ball swung on by Brennan, chance for Andrade, they won't stop her from there, and they don't. Yeah, just stepped off her right foot and eased in between 2 Warrington defenders. And it is 9 minutes gone, and the 3rd try already on the board for the Valkyrie, and it is Savannah Andrade, who sort of proved a point. I said she'd be a bit of an handful all day long, and just marking her own card there and saying, well, here I am, there's my first try.
I mean, Savannah Andrade, she's one of them players that every time she steps onto the field, it looks like she's playing in like a final setting. Like, she always puts her body on the line, and she always runs with so much conviction when she's running into these players. And again, there, great to see her. She started it all off, didn't she, Andy, at this side of the pitch down here, taking the first ball in, and then, you know, for the York Valkyrie to go 90 metres and score a try with some really good play in there is positive, really positive for him.
Yeah. Nice little assist from Tamsin Renouf, delivered the pass. And once more, kick to come from Izzy Brennan. Slightly easier kick for Izzy Brennan. Came through the under-19s at the Valkyrie, and she's been, I mean, played in the grand final and played a really big part in that grand final win last year, Gemma.
Yeah, I think like last season she played quite a few games, didn't she, Andy, in the playoffs, and then obviously in that grand final. And we spoke at that grand final, she had an absolutely blinding of a game, and
she did. I mean, her kicking game, and you know,
yeah.
I mean, Phoebe Hook on the wing for St Helens that day must have been absolutely sick of seeing that ball go up in the air, and it was all targeted at Phoebe Hook, wasn't it?
Izzy Brennan had her in her back pocket majority of that game, didn't she? How she were kicking the ball, and this is what, you know, Lindsay Antwill would love to see. Like in a game today against Warrington, she's able to test her and show that she is still, you know, she had a game out the other week, didn't she? Not selected, and you know, to bring her back today in what could be a pivotal game, I think for Izzy Brennan is fantastic, especially coming into next week.
Yeah, restart kick after Izzy Brennan's successful conversion. 2 out of 3 for her, 16 points to 0. Early doors. You're listening to BBC Radio York online. We will be on all frequencies and online later on for the York Knights from 2 o'clock. The York Knights looking to continue their unbeaten run. They'll create a new record today if they can beat London Broncos down here, but it'll be tough. Renouf, ball into Lisa Parker, but ball delivered just in front of her and fell off Lisa Parker's fingers. First real error there by Lindsay Anfield's side, but it does give Warrington Wolves a little bit of breathing space.
Yeah, they definitely won't have wanting to cough up too many errors today in a game that realistically they've got a hold on from get-go. So I think getting them little errors out of the game, especially in, like I said, you know, the run into playoffs, they want to be getting them out of the game, especially today.
Interesting player at hooker for Warrington Wolves, Danny Bound, of course, because she was, you know, part of the England setup at one time, wasn't she?
Yeah.
So, such a promising player. But finding it tough with this Warrington side this season. And that sort of drops you out of the limelight a bit as well, doesn't it, Gemma? You know, the fact that Warrington haven't managed to win this season.
And that's it, isn't it? But it's so hard getting into these, you know, we're littered with fantastic players along the Women's Super League, and, you know, trying to make a name for yourself in a big squad is hard to do, but, you know, she's doing the work, and, you know, she's still playing rugby, which for her is the most important thing.
Yeah. They move that ball, and then a forward pass, which I think is going to be pulled up. There was a big hit there in back play as well. It was Sydney Alderman-Smith, the fullback, trying to prompt Warrington away down the left side. But coming to nothing in the end. Yeah,
you could just see her there, Danielle Bound, like we just literally mentioned her, just organising a team, saying, you know, the ball's going to go here, let's set up for it. And that just shows, like, how much of an influential player she is for Warrington. So I think she'll have, hopefully, you know, she'll have a decent game when Warrington get into that attacking set.
So here comes Lisa Parker up towards halfway. Sinead Peach, that little step to her left before she delivers the pass. Same thing again. Seems to sort of step off the other foot, doesn't she? It's a curious little step.
Yeah, her agility is pretty pretty solid for Sinead Peach, isn't it? But she's just getting better and better, isn't she? After having that year out.
Yeah, she is, and you can see she's directing operations, trying to get players in where she wants them. Not sure she quite managed it there. There was a little misunderstanding, but the Valkyrie are still in possession. But it's on the last. They'll look for the kicker. They haven't. They've gone on the power play. They've gone to Georgie Dagger, but I think the current Woman of Steel is going to be held, and Valkyrie are going to have to turn the ball over on the Warrington 10, but not a bad outcome in many ways, and Warrington with a lot of work to do to bring that ball back downfield.
Yeah, that's it. Field position as well, Andy, like you said, stopping the fifth there. You know, Warrington have got to come a long way to end this set with a decent kick, so they'll be wanting to test the defensively out as well in this game, so good end to the set. I think there's a knock on there, is there? Yeah,
that's good work, good pressure, high up the field. And, you know, with the best will in the world, Warrington are not going to concede a try on every play. So, you know, to go into the corners and turn the ball over 5-10 metres away from your opponent's line. It's good. It's good. Good rehearsal for that game against Wigan next week.
Yeah, definitely, because it does test your defensive mentality, especially when, you know, no disrespect to Warrington, you're not going to be doing a lot of it. You know, handing the ball over is really good for them, the practice-wise, and you know, getting into that sets, and like I said, in that tough mentality for defence, it's great.
Chance for the Valks. Tamsin Renew, ball onto Ebony Partington, but delivered behind Peace Lakuru, who just got a little bit out of the play. She has to go back and recover. The Ugandan player in the number 30 shirt, 10 in from the near touchline, picked up by Lisa Parker. Gets into the 10, breaks into the 10, repelled by some strong Warrington tackling. 16 points to 0 to the Valkyrie at the moment. Sinead Peach just wanted that ball a little bit quicker and indicating such to our referee. Officials decked out in red. Valks right under the post. Sinead Peach, will she go on her own? No. Delivers the ball left side. Georgie Dagger, drop-off ball. Chance here for Evie Sexton. It was a lovely ball, and it was a lovely run by Evie Sexton, because she was coming back on the angle towards the post, but then realised the way in front of her was blocked, so stepped off her right foot, and that swerve took her away from the tacklers and got her over the try line. So Evie Sexton gets the try.
Evie Sexton!
Fantastic from Sinead Peach. They're in, obviously, at the hooking roll and pass it out to Georgie Dagger, and then Dagger spins the ball back, doesn't she? And great work from Evie Sexton to dismiss them defenders that were coming towards her. But great play by both the middles there with Sinead Peach and Georgie Dagger.
Yep.
Great to see them two working back in tandem with each other.
So it is 20 points to 0. We've had 15 minutes, and the Valkyrie get their 4th try of the game through Evie Sexton, left side of the attack, and just that initial run back towards the post, and then the step off her right foot that took her away from the attempted tacklers, and went in from around about 10 metres out.
Yeah, I think Sinead Peach and Georgie Dagger were pretty happy with that play. We've just seen them when they were walking back to the centre of the field. They're both talking about how that played out for them, and I'm sure they'll be doing more of that in this game.
Yep. So Gemma Kay in the summariser seat for us today, and Izzy Brennan out there kicking her 3rd conversion of the game, and we are at 22 points to 0 down here at a grey and overcast LNER Stadium. The rest of the games lined up. They've got 4 games left in the regular season of the Valkyrie. They have Wigan away next week at Newcastle. They then face St Helens, Barrow and Leeds in their last game, which could determine the outcome of possibly 3rd and 4th, depending on how the other games go, Gemma.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if you needed any practice for playoffs, there it is. You know, facing the top 3 teams in the last 4 games is it's a big end to the season for the Valkyrie and all the other teams up in them 4 positions. So it'd be interesting to see, you know, in 4 or 5 weeks' time where everyone's finishing.
So restart kick. They've gone for the short kick. Sinead Peach is on it. Alert there, the Valkyrie skipper, and she knew what Warrington were going to try. Here's Ebony Partington with the carry. Georgie Dagger goes in to play the ball. Emma Kershaw's in off a wing. Looks like the likely receiver, and is.
Nice to see that from Warrington, though, you know, trying something different. They're obviously, you know, they want the ball back, so.
Yeah, certainly trying to think about what they're doing, think their way through the game. Good running again by Tara Moxon. With a couple of players missing for the Valkyrie today. One has not played this season, Manakolo Komatai, and the reason for that is she is part of the Women's Rugby Union World Cup Fiji side. So when that comes up, she will be representing York Valkyrie in the Rugby Union World Cup. The other one still missing, Said Rihari, who I think has, I hear that she's sort of fallen out of love with the game a little bit at the moment, and just really wants to play but not under the pressure of the top of Women's Super League.
Yeah, I think as a player, it's it's hard to come to decisions like that. And Said's a fantastic player,
absolutely.
a fantastic person, isn't she? And she's got to do what's right for her. And hopefully, if she comes back to the Valkyrie next season, it'd be great to see her back.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've just got to be selfish with decisions like that, especially being a player. Yeah. It's I'm sure it'll been a hard decision for her either way.
Yeah, and obviously we wish her all the best with whichever way that career goes. Little error by Warrington, so chance for the Valkyrie. They lead 22 points to 0. Georgie Dagger in possession, goes to Evie Sexton, who scored that latest try. She gets the offload into Ebony Partington, moves the ball on to Tara Moxon. Did that ball drift forward to Emma Kershaw? Looked as though it might have done, but the two officials were a lot closer than me and you, Gemma.
It definitely looked forward, didn't it? But we'll play on.
We will. And Sinead Peach is going to break through. Just goes between two poor tackles, really, there on the try line. Poor try line defence by Warrington. And on 18 minutes, Sinead Peach gets her first try of the game from the play the ball after some good work by Moxon and Kershaw. Got them close down the left side.
Yeah, and I think there's I think Lindsay Anfield's using the bench well here. I think we've got Marshall, Williamson and Bibby coming on, so it'll be good for the York Valkyrie today to be able to use these these fantastic substitutes that we've got and be able to put in and change the game in a way. Your three big influential players coming on and obviously three big influential players coming off. So Lindsay Anfield will be using this to her advantage today and be able to play players in different positions, different minutes and stuff like that. So great opportunity for all the players.
Yep. Kick from right in front of the post by Izzy Brennan. She took it back a long way. Does that look curious to you?
I think maybe she wants a bit more of a run up, but
yeah.
Sometimes it is, believe it or not, sometimes it's easier.
Joss Bell and Sinead Peach come off.
Great reception for them too, isn't
good
it?
Round of applause from the main stand. Good following again today for the Valkyrie. Obviously a double header, and your ticket purchase today covers you for both games. Tara Stanley doing a little bit of dancing down here in front of her skipper.
Careful, watch that now.
Back on the disco floor there, girls. And Izzy Brennan puts her hands on her hips and says, well, how did I miss that? But she did. So I think I must have, I did jinx her there, didn't I, saying that she'd taken it too far away.
Yeah, sometimes, believe it or not, it is easier to kick a conversion further away. Because you have to, obviously, with the depths of it, but, unlucky for her there.
Yeah, I think Izzy Brennan might be coming off, actually. She is. Looks a bit chastened. just looks at her coach there, Lindsay Anfield, and sort of puts her thumbs down as if to say, sorry, coach, I've missed that one.
I think it looks like, between Izzy Brennan and Williamson, them two will be interchanging with each other, obviously.
Yeah, from a kicking point of view, yeah. Ellie Williamson, the Australian, formerly with South Sydney in the Women's Super League, or Women's NRL, I should say. But the Valks once more with the ball at the moment, and Warrington once more chasing that ball. Ellie Dooney, prop forward there, getting in at the tackle.
Good to see Rihanna Marshall back. I feel like I've not seen her play for a while, to be fair.
Yeah, you were with us for the last game when Rhiannon came on and got sin binned at one point for saying more than she should have done.
We've got a missing boot on the field as well.
Yeah, we have, and nobody's gone to claim it. Probably not realised they've lost it. The Warrington trainer's gone for it, but there's still a Warrington player out there playing in one boot and one sock. Valks in possession, centre field. Ellie Williamson puts the kick in.
That's
down
a great kick.
Into the left corner, chased back by Isabel Mallion, but she
a great
defending. Chase by the Valkyrie, and she's dumped into touching goal. It will be a drop out from under the sticks, and poor Isabel Mallion didn't have a lot going for her there.
No.
She She's felt the weight of that tackle as well, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think she's just putting her hair back up, isn't she? But Ellie Williamson, I mean, she's fantastic at kicking. I mean, for any player...
Great weight on it.
Yeah, the pinpoint accuracy to get it literally just in the corner, the correct weight on it, didn't go too far, wasn't too short. And then Peace Lacoro, fantastic tackle, wasn't it, from her?
Yep. Yeah, good work by the three chasers, Peace Lacoro included. I'm pretty sure Sav Andrade was in there as well. But it's Warrington's drop out from under the sticks.
The player retrieving a boot there, getting a boot back on it. I think it was Ellie Dooney.
Yeah, been delivered back to her. Oh, and then Lisa Parker makes an error from the restart. Look to try and catch the ball down around her shins, and it sort of rattled off and has given Warrington the chance just to clear their lines a little bit.
Good kick out from Warrington though, you know, the bounce on the ground. You know, anyone that's played rugby knows a rugby ball, they're hard to catch on the bounce, and it's in their favour, didn't it?
Yep, it did. So scrum down, 25 out from the Warrington line, centre field. BBC Radio York online following the Valkyrie in the Women's Super League season. And again, the Warrington player in danger of being forced into touch. Tenacious work by Lisa Parker. Trying to make up for a little error. Danny Bound gets the ball into Malion, a winger. Or Malin, as it says on the team sheet. A little spelling error. And that's strong work in the centre of the field by one of the Warrington middles.
I think it's Jenkins, isn't it?
Yeah,
she was pumped up before the game, like, wasn't she, when she came off after the training?
Yeah, the player getting a run on loan from Cardiff Demons, and has enjoyed the fact that the Valkyrie have been penalised by referee Toppin Higston.
And it's these little errors, again, that in a game like today, you know, Charlotte Lindsay and Phil spoke about it before the game, you know, we don't want them creeping in.
Yeah, holding down it was at the play of the ball, but that's not going to find touch, although it has found touch off Emma Kershaw's fingers. It shouldn't have found touch. Emma Kershaw should have reeled that ball in, but it escaped it. And so Warrington are able to assume some decent field position, Gemma.
Yeah, I mean, she put her hands up straight away, didn't she, there, Emma Kershaw, you know, sorry girls about that, and, you know, puts Warrington in good field position. You know, it'll be interesting to see some of these Cardiff players run onto this ball, because they look quality so far when they've been on. Decent defending from them.
Yeah, Emily Downs with the carry. Restored to the Warrington lineup today after missing out in their last game. And then there is Fionn Jenkins, one of the Cardiff contingent. Danny Bound at the play of the ball. And Warrington break into the Valkyrie 20. They trail by 26 points to 0. But an opportunity here. Ollie Gregory moves that ball on to Sydney Alderman-Smith, the full-back in the line in the scrum cap. And a big clattering tackle, but no ball involved, unfortunately. So that's going to be a penalty, I mean, to Warrington.
If she'd have had the ball, what an absolutely bell ringer of a tackle from Lacoro there, but unfortunately there was no ball involved in that, so it will be a penalty to Warrington.
Yeah, Peace, I think, said, well, the ball was going to be there if she'd caught it.
That's not my fault.
Unfortunately, it whistled straight through. And I'm saying that the Warrington team sheet's wrong with Isabel Malon's name on it, and it isn't, because it's the same on the back of her shirt. So my notes that are misleading me. Ellie Dooney in today for Megan Conliffe, and strong running in the centre of the field. Chance now, Danny Bound. Ball goes into Marianne Gittins, another of the Cardiff Demons contingent. be especially difficult playing a half-back in a side that you don't know at all.
Yeah, definitely.
Gemma.
You don't know which way the players are going to run. Every team has different sets in their attacking. It's full credit to her today because it's really, really hard.
On the last, trying to batter the front door down there, Ellie Downey, and then Danny Bound kicks over the top. And the referee, I think, although she's dived on her own ball, none of the Valkyrie players reacted because there was a little knock-on involved. So it's going to be the handover. It's going to be Valkyrie ball. They've managed to keep the nil intact. There's a bit of conversation going on between Danny Bound and Lisa Parker. I don't know what that's all about.
Friendly fire.
And Tara Moxon with the carry. Started the game like house on fire, did Tara Moxon. Not seen too much of the ball since, really, although did have a part in setting up that Sinead Peach try. And then Georgie Dagger. Georgie Dagger's away, jumps out the play, the ball still going. Still going, Georgie Dagger, and then eventually the tackle comes in, ball comes loose, and Warrington have recovered the ball. So it was a good bit of work. I think it was Danny Bound that stopped her with the tackle, wasn't it, Gemma?
Yeah, to be fair, Warrington, I mean, that's fantastic, innit? You know, to knock the ball out, very clever play. It shows experience that Danny Bound's got, and yeah, fantastic, because, I mean, you'd have put your money on York being scoring off at back of that, but fantastic defensive play by Warrington.
Yeah. Just watching Ebony Partington here, playing at full-back, obviously the England international, and organising her defence.
Good tackle from Lisa Parker.
Yep, strong.
He always puts her body on the line.
Really strong tackle getting in there on Albany Coates, the former Huddersfield Giants player. Started her career playing female junior rugby at East Leeds. We're having one heck of a season in National Conference Division 2, or the men's team are anyway. Another player who in the England DISE setup. Scrum down and Valkyrie ball, is it?
Yeah.
Trying to see who's got the ball in the hand. Yep, Tamsin Renouf with it tucked under her left arm. Izzy Bibby now out in the action to Lisa Parker. Parker gets over halfway. 26 points to nil still. You're listening to BBC Radio York. We're just about coming up to the half hour. Rhiannon Marshall's first serious involvement as she gets the ball in centre field. Drives into the Warrington 30. Izzy Bibby, the former Huddersfield player, to Tamsin Renouf. Tamsin Renouf swung to the ground in the Warrington 20. Izzy Bibby wants a quicker play the ball.
Ooh.
And then delivers a very ordinary ball to Ellie Williamson, who saw it skip past her, but it was tidied up by England prop forward Liv Wood. Appeal for a high tackle. Referee indicating it was on the shoulder. Here's Ellie Williamson in centre field. Tries to drive through Danny Bound's tackle. Can't do so.
Good setup.
Yep, right in front of the sticks. They go on to the right side. Tamsin Renouf steps round the attempted tackle of Holly Gregory, but then the pass is a little bit loose, but Lisa Parker's tidied it up, and Peace Lacouru trying to use the strength and did absolutely battered away past two attempted tacklers, and just far too much strength, and went through the tackle of Gracie Bradshaw was one of them trying to stop her, and I think possibly Sydney Alderman Smith, the fullback, was the other. But there was no stopping the Ugandan international and Peace Lacouru. It's a bit reminiscent of Jack Martin's try last week against Hunslet, where tacklers got to him about 3, 4, 5 metres out, and he was absolutely determined that that ball was going over the try line. And Peace Lacouru was the same there, wasn't she, Gemma?
Yeah, I mean, it looked for all the world that York had made a real meal of that fifth tackle, and then, you know, out comes Peace Lacouru, who did really well to stay in the infield there, because I think there were about 3, 4 defenders very close to her, and fantastic, cracking bit of play by the Ugandan there to get the try over, and it will be Rhiannon Marshall that's taking these kicks now. I thought it might have been Leah Williamson, but looks like Rhiannon Marshall's teeing this one up.
Yeah, it is Rhiannon Marshall, 15 in from the near touchline on the 20. She has that ball set up. But, yeah, really tidy work by Peace Lacouru. Strong work as well, tight to that right touchline. That's got her the try. And it was try number 6 of the game for the Valkyrie. Rhiannon Marshall looking to convert left foot. And she'll give it a thump, will Rhiannon? She does.
Sure,
that's an absolute corker of a kick by Rhiannon Marshall. And it's 32 points to 0. And you look at some of the Warrington defeats this season, I think 80-0 against Wigan, 98-0 I think possibly against St Helens. They've had some pretty hefty old thumpings, haven't they, Gemma?
Yeah, they have, and you know, people look into the women's game, don't they, and go, oh well, it's not competitive because of these wins, but you know, a lot of them people don't come to the games and watch. I mean, to be fair to Warrington, they keep going, you know, they've had some fantastic passage of players, haven't they, and like that kick we saw earlier on, you know, little kick just above the 10, you know, to get them back in the game. And yeah, it's a hard one, but you know, it's full credit to Warrington and the other teams that are down there and the girls that play, you know, to keep on playing just for the love of rugby. So it's, you know, full credit to them.
Yeah, I mean, it's in adversity when you look at it. You know, they had to call off their game against St Helens. They've been getting some hefty old thumpings, and then of course the coach leaves as well. So you know, real credit that they've managed to get a side out today in opposition to the Valkyrie. And at the moment, they've certainly had their high spots in the game, mostly around Danny Bound, who does look a good player, and there she is again, makes a really, really good tackle with a little bit of help from Fionn Jenkins, the interchange prop forward. And if you've joined us since kick-off, you've got to be aware that 3 of these Warrington players out there today representing Warrington Wolves. Oh, it's Ebony Partington cutting through. They'll do well to stop her. She's gone from halfway. They're not going to stop her. The former St Helens player, England international, races in under the post. And that was just carved a great big hole down the centre of the Warrington defence. And you don't have to look for anybody else as an assist there. It was all Ebony Partington's own work from halfway, Gemma.
Yeah, great little passage of play. I think it was between Rhiannon Marshall, Ellie Williamson, then passes the ball off to Ebony Partington. Fantastic run from her. You know, she had to get through a full line of Warrington players, really, and that's the class she brings. You know, that's why York signed her. That's why she's in the England setup, and you know, full credit to her and all the accolades she gets, because she's an outstanding player, is Ebony Partington.
So, kick to come this time. It's Ellie Williamson with the kicking duties. Swapping that around a little bit. The Australian from right in front of the post with a white scrum cap on. 36 points to 0. 7 minutes to the break. And we were talking about something before Ebony Partington cut through. I have absolutely no idea what it was, Gemma. we were saying that if you joined us since the start of the programme, that the 3 Cardiff Demons players representing Warrington Wolves today had actually never really set foot on a pitch in anger with their teammates. They'd literally just travelled up to the game today to play in it.
And to be fair to them, if you didn't know that fact, you wouldn't even be able to tell, to be fair. You know, I know the scoreboard potentially says otherwise, but in the context of the game, you can't tell. I think they've gelled really well, and full credit to them, you know, the Warrington staff, to be able to get them girls in and what they're doing on the field at the minute. Yeah,
Ellie Williamson converts. Ellie Williamson still up in the top point scorers in the Women's Super League. And she notches 2 more points to her tally there.
And I'm sure she'll be hoping to put some more on that leaderboard in today's game for Ellie Williamson.
Yeah, still with a bit of protection, I think, on that knee she damaged in that cycling accident.
They'll definitely be wanting to rip roaring and ready to go for next week in the best health she can be.
Yeah, certainly. So restart kick once again for Warrington. They've sort of gone for a sort of half short one, you'd have to say. In some ways it was neither a long kick or a short kick. It sort of landed in between. Eventually, after a couple of bounces off the turf, it was Liv Wood doing the tidying up. Here's Peace Lacoru.
She looks such a strong runner, doesn't she?
She does, yeah. Yeah, clean over the top of Danny Bound there, but caught by 2 of her colleagues. And then Savandrade, talking about strong runners. gets the Valkyrie up over halfway again. They lead 38 points to 0. Just checking I put that into my notebook. Izzy Bibby looks round, goes to Marshall. Marshall in centre field. Williamson, nice work between her and Georgie Dagger. Georgie Dagger puts the kick in, but I think the referee has determined there's a knock-on.
I think it were Evie Sexton, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The ball had just gone back as well, so unlucky there for Evie Sexton. It were an hard pick up off the ground.
You could see what Georgie Dagger was trying to do. She was trying to put a kick in behind the Warrington defence down that left side, but she was dragged off her feet as she tried to connect with the kick. So the ball just sort of dribbled sideways, really, and Evie Sexton not able to pick it up cleanly. So it's going to be Warrington ball.
Yeah, she brought that winger in centre straight in, didn't she? Then with Georgie Dagger on the ball, and I didn't know if it were going to be a kick handy, like you said, or a pass out, but unfortunate there, she could see exactly what she wanted to do.
I'm trying to think, going back to Hunslet last week and the green and yellow, green and red, which they always call Myrtle and Flame, green and orange. And Warrington today, and they call their colours as well. One's primrose. What's the blue colour? Can you remember, Gemma? Because I can't for the life of me. Is Izzy Bibby with a chance?
I mean, I'd just say blue, but...
Tackle again by a combination of Bound and Coates. They go down the right side. Renouf to Lacoro and...
Is that it again?
Yeah, and it was Grace Bradshaw once more who made things even harder for herself by sort of stepping in field and letting Peace Lacoro slither past on the outside, but they just about managed to get enough troops to stop her this time. And it's Ellie Williamson who stopped within a couple of metres of the line. Bibby to Liv Wood. Liv Wood to Tamsin Renouf. Keeps the ball going left. Georgie Dagger with... Warrington player all over. He eventually brings her down.
There is a Warrington player down just in backfield with
there is
a bit of a knee injury.
I think it's the winger. I think it's Isabel Mallion. I'm fairly sure she had bandaging on her knee. Ball inside. Rhiannon Marshall not going to stop her. Lovely little ball back inside by Georgie Dagger. Change of emphasis, change of direction with that ball, and it was good enough to unstitch the Warrington defence. It is Isabel Mallion who's coming off and looks visibly upset. And, as I say, she did have some strapping on that left knee to start with. But
yeah, how she was sat on the floor and with that knee bent, it looks a bit ominous of, you know, a bit of a knee injury, and she looks like she's in pain. So
yep,
hopefully they'll get some ice on her. But decent play from the Valkyrie there. I mean, you're never going to stop Rhiannon Marshall from that far out. You know, great play for him. You know, a bit of untidy attacking play from him, but Peace Lacoro had him in a good position, didn't she, down on this right-hand side of the field. So a good forward play to get him back on the other side, and, you know, have to try a bit harder against this what were a decent Warrington defensive set for him.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Rhiannon Marshall that forced her way through that little reverse ball from Georgie Dagger. Kick to come from Ellie Williamson right in front of the post. Interchange about to happen, I think, for Warrington. It's going to be Alice Burns, one of the players who stepped up from the under-19s in the 13 shirt. Under-19s, of course, would have played yesterday had Warrington been able to raise a side, but the emphasis was on this Super League game today. And Ellie Williamson's chipped that one through. It is 44 points to 0. With just a minute or two to the break here at the LNER. At half-time we will close down our transmission and start after the interval has ended with the full coverage of the second half. And of course, we then switch to our championship broadcast at 2 o'clock when we're on all frequencies and online. James Hogarth filming that in the studio, myself and Mick Ramsden for the London Broncos visit to the LNER. Play held up at the moment for the restart. Just looking for the change down here for Warrington. It was Alice Burns. She puts her black scrum cap on, makes sure her socks around her ankles to show some intent. And she's a like-for-like replacement for Isabel Mallion. Falcourt, high piece Lacoru from the restart kick. And it's been Marianne Gittins, the Cardiff player, on loan, doing most of the kicking for this Warrington side. I presume in the absence of Millie Bell, and I don't know why she would not be playing today. No details on that. And once again, Ebony Partington has done a lot of them, I think you'd have to say, Gemma. And that one was from even further out. That was, I think she got that ball about 15 metres into her own half, but Warrington just couldn't get a hold of her. And the pace of Ebony Partington, one of the, I think it was possibly Alderman Smith, the fullback who flirted with stopping her maybe 25 metres out, but it wasn't to be. And Ebony Partington makes it 48 points to 0 on the stroke of half time.
She just like a knife through butter there once she Ebony Partington got the ball on what were in the 30-metre line, I think it was, maybe even further back, and just straight through the Warrington defence and put the afterburners on to get past that last Warrington defender. But yeah, fantastic for Ebony Partington. You know, should be wanting to add, especially to that try count today. Yep.
Yeah, what are we going to give her there? 80 metres, 85 possibly.
Yeah, I think it were about that, wasn't it?
85 metres, and Warrington hardly got a hand on her. Second try of the game. And 9th try of the first half for the Valkyrie. Kick to come from Ellie Williamson. It is 48-0. It'd be a nice round 50 if she slots this one. Ebony Partington made sure she went round behind the sticks, so it should present not too much problem for the Australian halfback. And she misses. So everybody in the main stand looks at one another and says, how does she miss that? And my nice round figure I was going to put in my book of 50 points to 0 at half time has become 48.
Definitely the commentator's curse today, Andy. I think there was such a subdued silence then, though, when she missed that kick. But
yeah, I'm not going to comment any further about the kickers in this game, because that's twice I've done it. But the players coming off to a decent round of applause at half time, and Warrington, they follow the York Valkyrie up the tunnel, and it's been hard work for them to sort of stem the tide out there. But one or two little conversations going on. Gracie Bradshaw there with her hands on her hips, chatting away to one of her teammates. One or two sullen-looking faces, you'd have to say as well. But you know, we've talked about how difficult a season for this Warrington Wolves side. Your thoughts on that first half, quickly, Gemma?
Yeah, I think, you know, York were just on fire from the get-go, weren't they, really? I mean, you know, fantastic offensively, you know, in just running through the line. I think, you know, they've had to work for some of the tries that they've scored, and that's what they want. You know, they want the practice to be able to do that in a game like today. But full credit to Warrington. I think, you know, if a try's been scored, they've just got up and, you know, gone again. And you know, they've had some decent field position. You know, they were right under the try line, didn't they? They had York on the try line at one point. So, you know, like you said, Andy, it's a difficult day at the office for them, but they'll just be happy to be out here playing rugby. But yeah, I think York have just got to come out in the second half just the same as fired on as they have been all in this first half, because they've been outstanding in some areas, and you just want to be getting out them little errors that have been creeping in.
Yeah, so 9 tries in the first half for the Valkyrie, and it is 48 points to 0 at half-time in the Women's Super League here at the LNER against Warrington Wolves. You can rejoin us in around about 10 minutes after the break. We'll have full coverage of the second half, myself and Gemma Kay. So don't go too far away. You've just about time to make a cup of tea, and I've just about got time to race up and get us a coffee. We'll speak to you shortly.
Rugby league players and supporters have been dreaming of an opportunity like this.
He does a bit of a boogie.
Intercepted by Meninga.
Look is away. What a try!
Farmers with the step. Turbo is away. Tom Trebojevic.
Two generations of rugby league players and...
At the LNER in the Women's Super League, York Valkyrie against Warrington Wolves women's team, and it is 48 points to nil at half time. 9 tries for the Valkyrie. Ebony Partington with a brace from a combined distance, I would think, of about 135 metres, wouldn't you, Gemma Kay?
Yeah, I'd have said something like that, yeah.
So it is Warrington to restart the second half. It is the one of the players on loan from the Cardiff Demons side who play in the tier below. It's Mary-Ann Gittins, ball caught by Emma Kershaw, and appreciated by the handy crowd, which is obviously building in this double header for the night's game. We're on air with that at 2 o'clock. We'll drop off our online coverage of the Valkyrie and you'll then be able to pick up the night's game on all our frequencies, but still online, but not on the same link, as Valkyrie come up with a little error.
Yeah.
Ellie Williams discarded that ball with a sort of look of dismay and disgust on her face.
I think she knew that Rihanna Marshall had gone the 40 metres there and scored that try if that pass had come off, but you could see what she were doing, and fantastic to see the gap there and, you know, lay her forward off. But yeah, unfortunately it didn't come to no prevail for the Valkyrie there, but good eyes from Ellie Williamson.
Yeah, short ball there from Marianne Gittins. Let's see. Warrington side keep trying to move forward. Emily Downs this time. They've made a change. At hooker, it's Ruby Stokes who came through their academy side. Nice little drop-off ball there from Holly Gregory. It was with Lee Miners at one time, the Lee Miners ladies side, that has produced so many good players in Women's Super League.
I think there's been a change for the Valkyrie at half-time, trying to figure out who's gone off, but I think Akwiwa has come onto the pitch. She's just down here on this.
Yeah, she has
side.
indeed, yeah. Is it Evie Sexton that's gone off now? We can see Evie Sexton. Kick from one of the Warrington players, charged down, and Valkyrie player in an offside position. It was charged down by Lisa Parker, caught by Savannah Andrade, but she was about 5 metres ahead of the play.
I think it's Tara Moxon that's come off.
Bailey Antrobus just going past us. He'll be hoping to be involved in the 17 for the Knights this afternoon. Yeah, Adora Kwiwu, the player who joined us in summariser's seat for the last Valkyrie game against Huddersfield. She's out there today, formerly with the Leeds Rhinos. Played a bit of rugby union as well, as a lot of these girls do, and then some strong running again by Gracie Bradshaw, formerly with, she had spells with both Wigan and St Helens. And then Fionn Jenkins drives the ball forward. But again, the Valkyrie defence is good, and like all coaches do, Lindsay Anfield will want a big 0 at the side of the Warrington scoreline at the end of the game, but they're moving closer and closer, adjacent to the left-hand post, within the 10. Ball fired by Ruby Stokes. Shift the ball on, and a little cutback chance here for Gracie Bradshaw. Tries to get that ball down, and a penalty, I think, possibly for a head-eye shot out there. Long way from us, difficult to tell, but I suspect that's, yeah, absolutely, that's why referee Tyler Toppin-Higson has given the penalty. So big chance for Warrington here, Gemma.
Yeah, got themselves in real good field position. We said that it's been building, hasn't it, through the game.
Gittins tries on her own, brought down adjacent to the left-hand post, within the 5. Ruby Stokes tries to sneak over herself.
Great defending from Izzy Bibby there.
Yeah, Lindsay Anfield wouldn't be very happy if she sneaked over there. Now the big prop forward, Fionn Jenkins tries to drive over, but the Valkyrie of try-line defence is still good. Gittins again, ball shipped out wide and straight into the hands of a gleefully waiting Emma Kershaw, and that really has stifled Warrington's ambitions to get over the try line early in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, great read from Emma Kershaw there to pick the ball straight out of the Warrington line, but I think Warrington would be disappointed with that, because they had themselves in a really good field position, right just in front of the front of the try line. But great running from Georgie Dagger there. Ooh, a bit of an eye tackle, but referees not give it.
Yeah, not picked up by the officials. It has to be said, Warrington got themselves down there with some decent work, didn't they?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you said it in the first half, and you know, nothing short of determination from these Warrington girls, and you know, the making the meters up the field, which is what they'll be wanting to do.
Oh, that's a steepler from Rhiannon Marshall. Nervous looking Warrington defender underneath it, but to her credit,
Well
with
taken.
3 Valkyrie players on the chase and pressing her. What a great take. It was Francis Leighton, another of the players on loan from Cardiff Demons, who took that ball in, and then they've thrown a pass around Danny Bound's ankles. It's come out. Ellie Williamson's recovered the ball, on the 10, but she's taken a knock as the Australian, and that's going to hold play up. But yeah, what a fabulous bit of work by the Warrington winger under what was an absolute steepler from Rhiannon Marshall.
Yeah, I mean, look, anyone that knows Rhiannon Marshall, them kicks always come down with snow on, don't they? But fantastic kick, but full credit to the Warrington player. I'm not 100% sure what it was, but fantastic take. I mean, they had about 3 York defenders around her, and to take that ball in, full credit to that lass, because what a fantastic take that was.
Yeah, Ellie Williamson down on the 10-metre line at the moment, in front of the south stand. There's more of the Knights players who are going to be involved in this afternoon's game start to fill the seats down in front of us. I can see Kieran Buchanan down there, Avi Reynolds is down there, and such is competition for places in the Knights team at the moment. I wonder how many of them know whether they're actually in the 17. Will they know by now, do you think, Gemma?
From a player's point of view, you'd like to know by now if you're out on that field, but that's just the quality from the Knights side point of view. You know, the players that they've got at their disposal, and you know, they've all been outstanding, haven't they, when they've played this season, and gives Mark Applegarth a bit of an headache to team selection.
Very much so. Is he Brennan prowling the touchline, wanting to be back out there? Lindsay Anfield looks on him with some anxiety. She certainly won't want Ellie Williamson back on the injured list.
Definitely not.
Given the games coming up. We'll quickly talk about that game against Wigan next week. It was going to be here at the LNER, and York Rugby League have decided that it's going to be played up at Blaydon at Newcastle. There's a bit of an initiative to help things out up there. We better just hang on, because the Valkyrie are going to play this ball on the 10. Just to the left of the post. We better see what develops here. Izzy Bibby goes to Georgie Dagger. Dagger to Tamsin Renouf. Reaches for that one. Finds Sav Andrade. They did well to stop her, but they're not going to stop. Oh, they are. And it was an errant hand from Ebony Partington. It was Tamsin Renouf's pass. I think it was intended. I might be wrong. I think it was intended for Lisa Parker, and Ebony Partington decided to stick her hand out and knock the ball on.
Yeah, I think you're right, Andy. I think it was definitely meant for Lisa Parker there, but
it was a try gone begging.
Yeah, I don't know why Tamsin didn't go herself, and she's definitely got the strength to be able to get over there. I'd like to see her, but yeah, unlucky from Tamsin, because you could see where she wanted the ball to go.
Anyway, Warrington have had a reprieve. It's still 48 points to 0 as it was at half-time, and they now have some work to do to get themselves out of their 10 as Emma Kershaw throws Frances Layton to the ground. Ball's come out. Adora Akwiwu has scored to the left of the sticks, and it was that heavy, strong challenge by Emma Kershaw on Frances Layton through the player on loan from Cardiff Demons to the turf, and the ball came out, and it simply was just rolling there in the 10 metres. And Adora Akwiwu picked the ball up and managed to force over to the left of the sticks. First try of the second half, it is 52 points to 0.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to York Valkyrie, look, you've just got to play to the referee's whistle, and there were a few Warrington players there asking why won't the play stop straight away, because it looks like a bit of a nasty head injury for the Warrington player. But you know, full credit to York. Like I said, you've got to play to the referee's whistle, and they did that, and you know, they come up with the 4 points on the end of it. And there were Emma Kershaw, didn't she? She was straight with the Warrington player to make sure she were all right.
Yep. But it was Adora Akwiwu saw the opportunity, picked the ball up in the 10, and was strong enough to force the ball down. 52 points to 0. Well, Frances Layton still getting some attention down there as Rhiannon Marshall awaits to take the kick. Let's go back to Blaydon and Wigan next week. What do you think of the move to move it up to Newcastle, Gemma?
I've just been speaking to someone about it, actually. I think, you know, I appreciate why York have done it. Obviously, you know, the Women's Rugby Union World Cup. And I think to have it, I think, if I'm right in saying, and it's a double-header with Newcastle Falcons as well, I think, you know, to bring the women's game up there, I think is a really smart move by York. Obviously, it gives a bit more travel time for Wigan, doesn't it? But, yeah, I think it's a really smart move. You know, you're bringing the game to a new light. You know, there's not many Women's Super League, well, there's no Women's Super League teams north of York, but yeah, to bring it up there to a bit of a new audience, I think is quite a clever move from York, and you know, it'd be really good to see, you know, what the crowd's like, the travelling fans over from York, and you know, and from Wigan as well. Yeah,
and Wigan, they're going well, aren't they? It's a really tough task for the Valkyrie.
Yeah, definitely, and I think, you know, York will go into it with full confidence that they can definitely overturn Wigan. They're 100% capable, but you know, you can't take anything away from York. Look, Wigan have had an outstanding season, you know, winning the Challenge Cup, and what they've done to stay at the top of the league. I mean, you know, they played York earlier on in the season, didn't they, and absolutely decimated York, really, and the other results they've had against Leeds, against St Helens, they've really put a name out for themselves this year, and you know, they're a force to be reckoned with, and it's going to have to take...
Well, they possess pace all over the field, don't they? And when you look at that England team now, you used to look at the England team, didn't you? And it was made up of a majority of St Helens players. You look at it now, it's made up of a majority of Wigan players, isn't it?
Exactly.
And then you put the two Australian power sisters on top of that, who were both just scoring tries for fun.
Yeah, I mean, they're having an absolutely belting season at Wigan at the minute, but like you said, Andy, you know, it were full of St Helens players a few seasons ago, and now it's full at Wigan, but that's full credit to Wigan and what Dennis Betts is doing down there at the minute with the Wigan women's side.
Yeah. Rhiannon Marshall converted. It is 54 points to 0. And Warrington have kicked off, caught by Ebony Partington. She went to Liv Wood. Liv Wood made progress back towards halfway. Savannah Andrade has just carted the ball up over halfway. Izzy Bibby on for Sinead Peach. Came on after about 25 minutes to replace Sinead Peach. Izzy Bibby, the former Huddersfield player. Whips the ball into Marshall. Marshall onto Dagger, left side of the attack. Tries to ease between three Warrington defenders. Kitchen round her ankles. Gittins round her ankles. And then Rhiannon Marshall's going to score. Just a little bit of it was a hopscotch step, was that?
Just a little look behind the shoulder. I wanted to see if you were doing that.
She just stepped out of the attempted tackle as she went over. And back to her hopscotch days there for Rhiannon Marshall. It was a lovely, and Emma Kershaw just aping what she did there as she walked past her.
A few of the girls just mocking that bit.
Yeah, fabulous. But Rhiannon Marshall gets the try, and again just broke out of nowhere really, and through despairing Warrington tacklers. And Rhiannon Marshall with try number 11 for the Valkyrie for the afternoon. Warrington player down in back play as well.
Something York have been really, really good at so far in this game today. You know, your players like Georgie Dagger, you got, you know, Ellie Williamson in there, and even Izzy Bibby, you know, to see find these little pockets that are open, you know, with the Warrington defence leaving them gaps open for them to see them, you know, about 3 players before the, you know, the made, and you know, to see the game before it happens is really hard. But you know, I mean, York are taking this game by its scruff at neck at the minute, Andy, and like I said, finding them pockets of space to be able to run your big players through, like Rhiannon Marshall, who, you know, skipped and jumped over to score that try. Yeah. Nicole Barnett just down getting some attention at the moment, the Warrington centre. One of the girls who actually coaches junior side in her spare time. She coaches Newton Storm. And, credit to her for her input into the junior game, which of course where all these players have come from initially. It looks as though she's going off, is Nicole Barnett, as Rhiannon Marshall awaits to try and convert her own try. 2 more changes for Warrington. Olivia Hill comes on, and Jess Panner, year 2. That's about my 5th different pronunciation of Jess's name. Former rugby union player. Played at Leicester Tigers ladies, and also for Loughborough Lightning. Here's Rhiannon Marshall. And that one, she just prods into the seating in the south stand. And I think that might be 60. I'm just rattling the old
bits and pieces round on the abacus.
Yeah.
For the Valkyrie, scored by number 11, sponsored by Virtual Sport Group, Rhiannon Marshall.
It is 60 points to 0 with still half an hour to go, Gemma. I think there is a possibility that the scoreboard might need to go to another figure. I'm not sure it has that capability looking at it. I don't think the space is there.
It looks like it'd be pretty tight if there were a 1 in front of that 6-8, but...
Yeah, off piece Lacoru shins, picks the ball up, ranges back in field.
Great
Strong running again.
Good tackle though by Warrington there to spin her in the tackle.
Yeah, Danny Bound involved again, as ever, in a lot of the good work from Warrington. Player out there with a number 14 shirt on, who's not on the team sheet. And a penalty. Danny Bound, I think, getting pulled for interference at the play the ball. Warrington players get themselves to the touchline, but give it, knowing the thump that Rhiannon Marshall, oh, no, she hasn't. Went for touch and didn't find it. And ball caught by the fullback Sydney Alderman-Smith.
Bit of a miss kick that from Rhiannon Marshall. I mean,
Yeah, it was. I was just going to say that there's no chance this won't go into touch. And again, I want to just keep my opinions out of the kicking game today because I keep getting it wrong. Sun pokes its nose through at the LNER. Ruby Stokes at the play the ball. Talking about rubies, I presume you watched the England-Wales international, Gemma. Ruby Bruce from Leeds had a cracking game on her debut.
Yeah, I've seen highlights of it. Unfortunately, I were away, but yeah, you know, fair play to Wales. I think they've got some brilliant players in that squad, haven't they? You know.
Yeah. Yeah, Agnes Wood missing today for the Valkyrie. She featured well for Wales. High kick comes in, and Emma Kershaw took that confidently as she came in field and goes to ground about 18 from her own line. The Valkyrie still leading 16 points to 0. Adora Akwiwu, who got that first try of the second half for the Valks with the carry. Oh, Tamsin Renouf, lovely ball back inside, but I have a feeling that Ebony Partington just glanced up there.
Yeah, I think she just looked at the player in front of her because she was definitely running with her, wasn't she? But unlucky for the Valkyrie there. She'd have been straight through that line. Nice
ball from Tamsin Renouf, but just couldn't be reeled in. Just as I do, I have a little check at how Tara Jane Stanley's moving down here on that injured leg. Don't think there's very much possibility we'll see Tara this season, do you, Gemma? Any reports on that score?
No, I think obviously the injury that Tara had and the player that she is, you know, and well before that injury, from Lindsay Anfield's point of view, you know, you never want to bring a player back too early, and especially, you know, the devastating injury she had. And you know, there's plenty of players in this York squad to be able to field the team each week, and you know, a really, really strong team each week. So yeah, I think she'll be out for the rest of this season.
Savandrade once more drawing tacklers in the centre of the field, committing them, and then Rhiannon Marshall, ball ripped out, 2 in the tackle. She might have got away with one there a little bit, Rhiannon Marshall. There was a bit of a loose carry in there, Gemma.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard, isn't it? You know, that ruling of is it a loose carry or in.
Oh, another Warrington player with a knock. Been quite a number of hold-ups, particularly early in this second half, and that looks like a neck injury. So right that the physio and the doctor are there just to check that one out.
Yeah, 100% a bit of a HIA there, and you know, we talk about it, the top 4 and you know, I don't want to say bottom 4 because they're not, but all the other teams that make up the Women's Super League, sometimes there's such a divide where, you know.
Well, in strictest terms, they are the bottom 4.
I didn't want to be too mean, but you can say, Andy.
Call it like it is.
You know, there's just the physicality of the players, and you know, York have let nothing in the changing room when it comes to the hard tackling and the big runs today. And you know, sometimes a team like Warrington, you know, they're not used to it for the fact of, you know, they only play these sides, you know, twice a year, and on the same physicality level.
It's got to be that way though, Gemma,
yeah.
because you know they're going to face the league leaders next week. So
yeah, that's it.
You know, it has to be that way. You can't sort of turn the or you don't want to be turning the intensity down, do you? I mean, we look at you know, the Knights last week against Hunslet and 56 points to 0, and Hunslet never really got a sniff, and that's the way it has to be.
Yeah, 100%, and it'd be definitely something Lindsay Anfield will have said to her players. You know, you can't look at the team that you're playing against. Obviously, like, there will be eyes on next week, but you can't look at the opposition you're playing. You've just got to go out and play your game, and if that means running, you know, 20 miles an hour into a player, you've got to do it. It doesn't matter who you're playing against, and that's full credit to the York Valkyrie team to, you know, to still do that. They've got to play their game at their intensity.
Can't see a number, but I think it's Liv Hill, the interchange player, who is coming off for Warrington, and possibly for a head injury assessment.
There, I think, yeah. There's the green board out, but you never see any green cards being given out by referees.
Yeah, it was Olivia Hill. First took her interest in rugby at Great Sankey School, and she's very celebrated down there as a former pupil. Played rugby league since she was 14 as the Valkyrie try and get over on the right side, but the ball went to ground in front of Peace Lakoru. And in all honesty, you know, in all fairness to Peace Lakoru, she's still learning her trade. She's essentially not a winger, is she?
No.
You know, so occasionally that positional sense is going to be a little bit awry, and that was the case there. Here's Fionn Jenkins, the one of the Welsh contingent, to stop just short of the 30, and then poor Ruby Stokes mishandles at the play the ball. Just a little bit of anxiety, and it slithered through her fingers, indicated by referee.
Yeah, unfortunate for Warrington. It looked like they had something set on the far side of the pitch, so I think she looked where the pass were going before she even had the ball in her hand, which made it just pop out.
They've stemmed the tide a bit, haven't they, in the early stages of the second half?
Yeah, definitely.
Found a bit of fortitude, a bit of resilience. Yeah. We've had 15 minutes of the second half.
Yeah, so they've had 2 players with injuries. They've done really well.
Yeah, the Valkyrie are not helping their own cause at the moment, because there was another loose pass there fired by Izzy Bibi. A bit of a misunderstanding. It went to ground, but Tamsin Renouf puts a little bit more impetus into things there, gets the ball onto Savandrade, change, Jazz Bell comes on, Rhiannon Marshall comes off. Exchanges high fives with Lindsay Anfield as Ellie Williamson on the worst for her injury. And a change, Bibi for Peach. Peach races to the play of the ball to see if the Valkyrie can get over here. Tamsin Renouf, whether that one be chalked off for an obstruction, stopped just short anyway. Great last-ditch tackle by Gracie Bradshaw, I think, and then Jazz Bell tries to roll over and gets the ball down. And Jazz Bell, her first try of the day. And the Valkyrie score again. It is try number 12. And Jazz Bell just basically twisting through the tackle on the line after Warrington's try-line defence had initially held the Valkyrie out.
I mean, there's never been a definition of a super, so I think Jazz Bell has just said it there, and then she's been on the field less than 30 seconds and scores a try. But yeah, good field position again by York Valkyrie, and you know, putting the afterburners on for Jazz Bell to get that try over. And I think it's Izzy Brennan that'll be taking the kicking duties now.
Yeah, interesting. They had that play the ball 10 metres from the Warrington line and made the change, and Izzy Bibi came off, and Sinead Peach absolutely belted out there as fast as she could go to get to the play the ball, moved the ball onto the right side, and Valkyrie stopped initially, but then it was Jazz Bell to get the try. 64 points to 0, 23 minutes left on the clock. Rhiannon Marshall in conversation with Lindsay Anfield down in front of us. Rich Whiting out there, and Liv Gale just in the huddle for the Valkyrie as Izzy Brennan tries to add 2 more. As the ball rolls off the kicking tee just as she does her little steps to the left.
what I love seeing about Rihanna Marshall. I mean, look, she's been in the game for so many years, hasn't she? And the experience she brings and the rugby mind that she brings, but she's always talking to Lindsay Anfield about what we need to do and what we can do better to, even in a game where they're leading 64-0 at the minute, you know, to put these players on. And she's always wanting to know how to get better and be bigger for her team.
Yeah, absolutely. Izzy Brennan makes it 66 points to 0 to the Valkyrie. Don't forget, if you do want to get in touch, I'll try and get them all right this time. You can text us, start your message with the word York, 81333. You can tweet us at BBC York Sport, or if you fancy WhatsApp, that is 0800321 once more. You have to start the message with the word York. It'd be good to hear your thoughts on the Valkyrie and that match-up with Wigan, particularly next week. Ball skips towards the touchline. Peace Lacoro got away with one there. It sort of hopped off her hands, up in the air and back into hands again, as Brendan Santi says hello at the side of us. Brendan Santi will be out there in the thick of things in about an hour and a half. That little bit of sunshine's disappeared, Gemma. We're back to the haze, you'd have to call it, wouldn't you, I think?
Just showed its face for a bit and then thought, no, I'm not coming out today.
I'll tell you what, when you look at the temperatures down in Europe, and particularly down in the south of France, and the wildfires raging there, it's going to be a hot old time for the nights next week, isn't it, down in Toulouse?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's so hard, isn't it, going to Toulouse and going over to France, but especially in that heat over there at the minute.
It definitely told on Sheffield yesterday. 16-6 at half-time, finished 58-6. And it was just the second half. I think the Eagles must have just run out of gas. Kick wide from Ellie Williamson. Beautifully caught by Peace Lacoro. Chance out there for the Valkyrie. Savannah Andrade won't be stopped. She's in for the try. Lovely bit of work. And excellent recycling of the ball by Peace Lacoro.
Yeah, brilliant kick by Ellie Williamson, and then Peace Lacoro to get onto the end of it. It looked like there were going to be nothing on the end of it, sorry, but, you know, a great pass on the inside, and, you know, to get the ball to Savannah Andrade, you know, she had to do her work to get the ball over the line, but, yeah, great piece of play by the York Valkyrie.
Yeah, Peace Lacoro put the presence of mind there to get on the end of Ellie Williamson's, I'll say it in a minute, Ellie Williamson's kick to wide out to the right side, and Peace Lacoro catching that ball and finding
Try.